Hello and welcome. My name is Tom, who Jeremy's wife does not dig.
Wait, what? This is the only stream that my wife will watch with me. Oh, that's like super cute. Sorry,
And I'm Heather. And you're sitting at the couples table. The couples table.
Oh, I got this. I got this. Ready, set, look at, and boom. Sorry, I was posting the link on my Instagram stories.
Multitask.
Okay, sorry. Let's do it again.
Hi, my name is Tom.
And I'm Heather.
You're sitting at the couples table.
The Couples Table is a live stream podcast here on this channel. Join us for better or worse.
For richer or poorer.
In sickness and in health.
Fridays, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Dun, 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 dun. That is today. How is the audio? How is the audio?
We checked it before. It should be good.
I think we're good. Okay, guys. Parker Jennings in the house. What's up? Jeremy, hello. And Kat, hey.
All right.
Hey. What do you say? I am hyper today.
Yeah,
I know. I had a
You're
second
like
cup of
cleaning your
coffee.
computer over here.
I don't know. I took a nap and then I had to down a coffee, and here we are.
I didn't do any of those things.
Yeah, get on my level. See, this is why you're always yawning at the couples.
It is, yeah.
Anyway, how you doing, Tom?
Oh, good. How are you?
It is the last day of May.
I know, it sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
I get excited for the first J month.
Oh.
Because the second J month is my birthday. And then it also means school's out, summer's here.
Yeah, take that, teachers. Can't tell me what to do.
Oh, no, coffee in the house. I just read your comment. Thank you for that. Shotgun Studios here. Happy Friday. And call me Cubby. What's up? I like the Firebird shirt. I never wear the shirt for some reason.
I know, it looks so good.
I know. You know what? Because it's a white shirt. But I put it on and I was like, oh.
White shirts are tough, but that's a good one. Because it's also like most of it is the logo. Sometimes a white shirt is like a smaller
Actually, I thought
logo.
about it because I told Tom when we were getting ready that I was like, my month is ending. And he's like, what do you mean my month? And it's the AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islander month is obviously the last day today. But then tomorrow's Pride month. And I was like, oh, I actually have a Pride shirt.
Yeah.
So then, this is the thought process of getting ready for the couples table.
How dare you not stick to the exact dates that you are only allowed to celebrate these things.
Level up with Mike. Hello. So, are we going to get into it today, Tom?
Yeah. I'm going to let you
Oh, no. Are you?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
I feel like you know more about the conversation than I do.
I don't know that I do.
What did we title it? We said how YouTubers and sponsorships.
We're on the stream right now. We should know
I know,
this.
but I mean, like,
how YouTubers do sponsorships and brand deals. We could not remember this title.
I know. Well, because we wanted to approach it from different angles.
Yeah.
You mentioned navigating it, so like how, I don't know, you can you shared how you yourself navigate brand deals and sponsorships.
Yeah, stuff we've seen other people do, stuff you've seen. I think we're most curious about not just our own opinions, but everybody else's opinions about sponsorships on YouTube and what maybe you like, what you don't like, what's done well, what's not done well. Because it's not, right off the bat, let's just be clear, it's not inherently bad. There's nothing wrong with it. But just like anything,
well, let me ask you
abused.
this. Let me ask you this. So it seems like right now there is a bigger conversation around YouTube creators and sponsorships. And it seems like right now there's something happening, or there's some kind of shift or something. So can you describe how it was done and why people are talking about this now?
Well, I think the reason people are talking about this now, from a viewer standpoint, is I feel like viewers have gotten very savvy and started to, when you're a YouTube creator and you start building up your channel, start seeing how things work, the way I described it the other day on my live stream was you kind of like see the matrix. You can kind of tell what's happening even if it's not super upfront. And I think viewers have gotten to that point. I think it's been long enough, and enough viewers are creators themselves where they can kind of see the matrix, and they've started to really feel like, okay, it's one thing for, something to be given for free or a thing to be sponsored, but now it's like we are just watching commercials. And not only do most people not just want to watch commercials, but it also feels disingenuous. It feels icky. It's like, like when your friend from high school sends you a message online that you haven't heard from in 10 years, and then they try to like recruit you for an MLM. It's like, oh, you didn't want to reach out to me. You want me to sell your Tupperware or whatever it is. And it's like, it has that vibe of like, you're using our relationship as viewer audience, the trust that you've built up over time, and now it feels like it feels dirty. And I think the viewers have gotten tired of that and want something to change. And I think creators have also, on their side of it, I think a lot of creators who especially have done a lot of sponsored content, it has sucked the joy out of making stuff and sucked the fun out of it. And they want to find a different way to do it. And so it seems like, which is a good thing. It's a win-win if both sides are kind of feeling like this isn't working. What do we do differently?
Let's change this. Yeah.
Then there's room to improve and figure new things out.
Yeah.
That's just what I think. I don't know. There's no quantitative research about that, but that's just what I've noticed.
Yeah. You went live on your channel this week.
Yeah. On Tuesday.
Super fun.
Yeah.
And you talked a little bit about this. And one thing that you mentioned that I thought was interesting. Well, a lot of things, but I think one thing that I think is, I don't know, different about the conversation around sponsorships that's happening right now is that people are realizing that like it's almost like the sponsor is dictating the content versus the creators dictating the content partnered with the sponsor. And it's very subtle, but it's enough to change the dynamic of fan to creator, viewer to creator,
that's a
community.
Good point. Yeah.
So it's like, it's one thing if, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example, but like.
Well, yeah, I don't.
Okay, so like, I have this microphone. I use it all the time.
Sure.
And then.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I talk about it versus a company saying, hey, we're coming out with this new microphone. Talk about it when we launch. And here are the things that you need to say about it. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, would I have done that anyway?
And a lot of it, I think, goes even a step further, where it's not just that, because hey, maybe they came out with like the new perfect microphone for you, and now you like it. But a lot of times it goes down that route, and then you'll never see the thing again.
Oh,
and it's
okay.
like,
and that's.
I think that's where it's like, oh, what? And then as a viewer, you're confused because you're like, wait, do you use that? Do you like that? Do you endorse that?
So it seems like, because I know this conversation is really like, it's very nuanced, and it seems like a lot of things are contributing, but even that, like, a viewer never sees the thing in future videos. I don't even think that's intentional, but like, I don't think the creator is like, I'm not going to put this thing in it anymore.
No, but I think that's where it comes, like.
I guess if you really bought something you needed, you would use it.
Right. That's if it's a thing that you like. It's in the camera niche of YouTube, it happens all the time. New cameras come out and you see the wave of release videos and people claim it's the best thing ever. But, the next videos after that, they're back to using the same camera they were using before. And I've always been like, I'm more interested in what you're using, not what you're telling me about that I'm never going to see again.
Oh, I see.
And especially because that's where it's like, and it's not even that's bad. I understand, like, sometimes you just have stuff in your workflow and a new thing comes out, and even if it is kind of better and even if it makes more sense, like, you just don't want to uproot your workflow and change things around.
Yeah.
And what works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The tricky part, though, is if it feels like it's this endorsement or whatever from a viewer's standpoint. I know in the past it's happened to me where I've found somebody who I trusted. They talk about something in a very genuine and authentic way, which not only gives me, like, it's something I've been thinking about buying or getting into. Their endorsement might be the thing that kind of like, okay, that gives me the push to, like, press the submit order button on it. And then you get the thing, you're like, this is really cool. And then you go back to the person who recommended it, and it's never.
They're not using it.
Yeah, and it sort of depends. I'm thinking my own channel. Like, I have a lot of different microphones, so I'll do a mic review, and you might not see that same microphone again for a while, but it will pop up again. I try to make it clear, like, I like microphones, So I switch through them a lot because they're all fun.
Yeah.
You know, and there's other things that are really specific, you know, like things, I'm just thinking of my own channel, but things like
But like, okay, so here's an example. You have like 9 guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. Your channel is not about guitars. There's no one needs that many guitars,
Right.
obviously.
Well.
But like the fact that you have like, I mean, you told me this one has a very different sound. I can't tell the difference, but
Yeah.
there's an enthusiasm, which is why it's almost like you collect.
Yeah. And the same thing with microphones. You can get pretty much any microphone, especially over $50 or something, and especially if you can just add some EQ to it, it's going to sound fine, and it's going to probably be the only microphone you ever need.
Done. We're done
Yeah,
here.
and you would be done. But it is fun to have different mics with different sounds. They maybe work different ways with interfaces. They have different designs, different strengths, and like if you're someone who's interested in that, that's part of the fun, right? Like
Right. Of course.
that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes to that. And the thing that I think about, which I know we need to check in with comments and stuff, but the thing I'm thinking about too is the opposite of this, which is like old school. I guess they still do it. Some podcasts do it, some YouTube channels do it, but it's like the old school radio television way of doing sponsorships where it's overt. It's like literally like, now here's a break from our sponsor, and it's very clear the host is, you know, sometimes you could see this on TV shows. They are holding a script and they're like, we'd like to thank, you know, Marlboro cigarettes, like the smooth taste of smoky goodness, feed them to your kids, Doctor's Choice, Marlboro cigarettes. And like, you know that whatever, like they're literally reading the script in front of you. And to me, in a weird way, that's almost more honest.
Right, because you're just telling it like it is.
Yeah, and that where I see that a lot on YouTube.
Right, okay, I see what it is.
Where I see that a lot on YouTube is in the like commentary entertainment channel niche, because someone will be like, here's 20 ways that, you know, what's his face? The guy ruined the Star Wars trilogy or something.
George Lucas?
Sure. I was thinking of the new guy who did it. I can't remember his... J.J. Abrams. Here's like 20 ways J.J. Abrams killed Star Wars. Like, okay. And in the middle of that, it's like, but before we get to thing number whatever, here's a word from our sponsor. Like, this meal prep service. It has nothing to do with Star Wars. It has nothing to do with the channel. Person talks about meal prep for 60 seconds. Sometimes they make it interesting. You know, PewDiePie's going to talk about G Fuel. And the video's not about G Fuel or anything that requires any sort of extra electrolytes or fuel. And it's like... in a weird, it's just like, here's a sponsor. They paid me to tell you about them. I think there should be the thing of the host uses it or has at least tried it and liked it, and that's sort of how it's been for a long time.
So the difference is the review part.
The difference is the part where it's almost, because those kinds of things, like I've heard those in the past for my whole life across media, where people will say like, you know, maybe Pilot Pens sponsored this radio show, but maybe the host also either has bought and used them their whole life, or they gave them a truckload of Pilot Pens and was like, these are great. These are what I use now. And so there is that endorsement, right? Like, you know, whatever it was when Britney Spears wasn't allowed to drink Coke because she was sponsored by Pepsi, that kind of thing. But I think where it flips is where it's like that endorsement gets to a really blurry line, and the person really feels like they are earnestly telling you about something they love, when in reality, they might not ever be mentioning it if there weren't some other thing going on behind the scenes. And as a viewer...
so complicated.
That's very frustrating.
Yeah. Okay, so Impressive Tony, happy Friday, y'all. Excited for today's topic. I actually just received my first free review product for my new tech channel, so I'm ways away from brain deals being an issue, but
hey,
still.
that's a milestone.
Yeah, that's a huge milestone. Like, that's a... I mean, I remember I told the story before here, but I went to VidCon my first time. I was sitting in the front row for Zach King's talk, and he was like, who here has gotten any kind of exchange from a business, a brand, a company, free products, anything you have gotten your first brand deal? Like, you know, people put their hands up, and he was like, congratulations, you've gotten your first brand deal. That's like, I don't know, it's like getting your first negative comment. Like, you made it.
Rite of passage, yeah.
Gil's here. Hello. Kat says, I remember your podcast last year, Tom, about how it seems like brand launches have started driving the content schedule versus the creator.
Yeah, that where I was talking about, they're in the driver's seat. You're not in the driver's seat of your channel.
Andre says, hi. Jeremy says, Gerald Coffee Chelsea, Tony, and a few others have gotten into it this week. All respectful, but everyone feels like the Fuji trip was the kickoff for all this discussion.
I think the Lumix trip, but
I thought it was a Panasonic trip.
But it's Panasonic, Lumix are kind of the...
Oh.
Lumix is a camera company that's owned by Panasonic.
Shotgun Studio says, you don't know which reviews are genuine anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, because PewDiePie is not reviewing G Fuel.
Right.
Like, you're not reviewing HelloFresh.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty obvious, too, when it's like, we're going to review best sports drinks. And it's like, surprise, the one who sponsored the video is the best one. You would expect that on the brand's website, maybe. You know, like, of course.
Well, let me ask you this, then. Like, why... Okay, genuine question. We need to catch up with the comments, but genuine question. Why... Okay, words. Creators obviously work with sponsors and do brand deals because they need to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they approach companies like HelloFresh or Squarespace or these other ones that are just, there's no review, it's like, because it's out of your niche, you're not speaking at it from an angle of I'm kind of an enthusiast or expert in cameras or whatever. It's clear this person is the sponsor. They've enabled this video by paying for it. And then this is not even an issue.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's tricky because also a lot of companies, you know, finding companies in or out of your niche that are willing to sponsor stuff and pay you well and treat you well and whatever your requirements are. Like, I have my whole
like, you drink Coke every day. I know Coke's not going to sponsor you.
But Coke might say, yeah, we'll sponsor you. We'll give you $500 for 10 videos and 16 reels or something. And it's like, well, that is just...
I know, but like, what if you found someone that was comparable?
I mean, you'd have to do the legwork to do it. And
right.
the fact is, like, most creators, even if they thought they wanted to do brand deals when they started their channel, they probably weren't equipped to do it. And they've sort of stumbled and fallen into it and are... you know, navigating it. And I think, at least in camera YouTube right now, a thing that's happened is I think a lot of people sort of found themselves in these situations, not because they got into them consciously, because they made these decisions like, I'm going to say, but it's just sort of, they said yes to a lot of things over a long period of time and sort of didn't realize the corner.
This is the way that it's always been done, and this is the way to do it. And
this is what I see other people do, so it makes it's okay. And, you know, yeah.
Ona Coffee says, I've always been critical of reviewers to determine who to trust. I think Geraldine does very trustworthy reviews, but his recent video sounded more like gripes that he wasn't invited to Japan, especially since in the video he bragged about how he doesn't make videos when he goes on a sponsored trip by the company.
The thing that I want to emphasize, especially as someone who has been very like anti, you know, like brand unfriendly in not a content way, but in a personality way, is I actually don't fault any of the brands for any of this. Like, a brand is, I think we should be super clear. I think we touched on this last week a little bit too. Brands are supposed to market their products. Brands are
I mean, but who thinks that it's the company's fault? Do people actually think that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially, at least in this whole thing that's happened here. Brand is supposed to market their stuff. A brand is, of course, going to tell you all the ways that their stuff is great. That's what they do. And that's like, that's fine. It's your, I don't even want to say your job because everybody's different. If you're approaching it as a journalist, you do have a different responsibility than an enthusiast, than a hobbyist, than a whatever. But it's your job to figure out how you want to approach something, approach it in that way, and then make that clear to your audience. And if somebody is boasting that they don't participate in very expensive trips for products, and the brand says, okay, let's not invite that person anymore because we're essentially just flushing money away, that's fine.
Well, I think the reason why people were blaming companies in this round is because like Insta360 was asking.
This was right on the heels of that.
Yeah, asking creators to not disclose that a sponsorship agreement had been made, which is illegal. Like,
yeah, I think that, and then
against terms of service, illegal. Like, that is wrong, straight up.
Yeah, and this was right on the heels of that. At least in this one niche, you know, this stuff has happened in different niches and different mediums for many, many years, but it was like sort of like the perfect storm of things to get people looking more critically at this right now.
I find that more reputable reviewers fully disclose a relationship, but there is more weight given to those who pay for their own product.
It's hard. I mean, paying for your own thing is the easiest way to avoid everything. You gain credibility. You have nothing to worry about.
I know.
But what I can say is, depending on what your channel is, it literally just isn't practical all the time. And so rather than kind of get into it here, I did do a podcast episode maybe like a month ago. It's called To Shill or Not to Shill. And it dives into that question, specifically explaining all the ways why somebody might need to not pay for stuff. If that makes sense. Like, it's not really justifying like but I need to have free things. But it dives into the relationship between the creator and the audience. And when the creator has the audience trust and respect, and the audience grows, and the audience wants that person's point of view and perspective on things, it could be the creators, in a way, I don't want to say responsibility, but their decision to try to serve those people in their audience as good as possible. And that might mean, okay, now I will, accept something, talk about something, evaluate something, review something that I might not have otherwise, specifically for these people who care about what I do. And if I bought all of the things that people want me to do that for, I would go broke.
Yeah.
And so that, there's that part of it.
Andre says, to be honest, I have no problem with creators doing sponsored, not sponsored, sponsored launch videos. It's so easy to see, understand when that's the situation. But I find it interesting when OG YouTubers who have made their career and channels based on earning cash from camera reviews suddenly advise younger up-and-coming YouTubers to not do it.
Right.
Yeah. Homesick man. I totally take it back. No one needs 9 guitars. How many do you have?
Yeah. That's what we were talking about yesterday, the term gas. Because you're like, oh my gosh, like I've seen so many people talk about gas and like the camera streaming niche. Like everyone has gas for new gear. And I was like, oh, the first time I heard that term, that I heard it was back in like 2001 when I started playing guitar, and I went on an online message board that I spent so much time on. And everybody, of course, like once you get one guitar, you need another guitar. It's just how it works.
So interesting.
And that's where everyone talked about gas. There was even like a forum on there called like the Gas Forum or something.
Look at Benny. Hi, Ben. What is it?
You got gas, buddy?
Do you have gas? Do you want new gear? Huh? I don't know why he came here.
I think he wants to go under the table.
Do you want to go? You can go under the table. I don't know what to do. Okay, Mike says, microphones are like t-shirts, shoes, and hats. I may have a favorite I love, but I won't wear the same shirt every time I go out. I will change it up.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Actually, yeah. I can see that. Gil says, I hate and love rethinking my workflow. It takes a lot to redo a setup, so when I see creators promote a new computer or software every week, I'm like, how the heck are they so efficient? And I'm not.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think about that with Marquez Brownlee, who I love, and he's very clear because he covers like every smartphone that's out there, and he usually does iOS and Android. So he's said that he has like 2 phones on him at all times, and he usually sticks with each one for about, I don't know, like 3 weeks to a month or something. So it's like new phone. Okay, I'm going to use this. And that is his phone, his iPhone, or his Android phone for that month. And he switches. And I always think like the nightmare of setting up a new phone every couple of weeks.
I know.
I mean, this is his job.
It's like,
but
you just back it up now. And
yeah, I know. But still, even still, there's always little things where it's like, I got to redo this setting and change this. And
Gil says, everything does seem like an ad now, and I really don't like that.
Yeah.
Kat says, I agree about the traditional ad. We know exactly what it is. The video isn't trying to sell us. It's simply sponsored.
I think people got to the point, too, where it was like, we knew about traditional ads, so we skipped them. We went out of the room when commercials came on. I
know, but they still work. Like, heck, earlier I wanted Dairy Queen because of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like,
we were watching a game. We were watching a hockey game the other day. I think it was a Firebirds game, and the other team had a player named O'Reilly, and I just kept thinking, like, advertising works.
That's why it's like if the sponsor's just trying to sell.
But if a company's going to say, hey, our very obvious commercial comes on and people walk out of the room, what if somebody was able to like hold their attention a little more and actually get them to hear what we're trying to say?
Well, see, here's the thing that I mentioned in the video I put out yesterday, but I feel like the sponsors are just doing what they do. Like you said, they're a brand, a company is going to sell their products. Like obviously. And if you think that's weird, clearly you have not been a business owner yourself. Like this is, what is the point of a business? Is to sell the product that you created. So obviously, but I think the way that it's being done right now is obviously not. I think there's a better way. I don't know what that way is, but I'm curious, like,
alternative ways, I guess.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like the creators, like, let's stop. Let's push pause. And for a second, let the creators come up with a better way for everyone to win.
Yeah.
For sponsors to be able to sell their ad things, for creators to be able to be creative and maintain the integrity and, what is it called? Authenticity with their audience, and to have fun, and like everyone wins.
Yeah.
I don't think the sponsor is going to come up with that.
No, they're not.
Because they're just going to do the thing that's been done. Yeah. And so, like, I don't know. I feel like there's ways,
It involves a lot of self-introspection to figure out what works for you and your audience. And it also involves a lot of communication with the brand. And, like, it involves a lot more than just sort of like, because the thing is, once your channel gets to a certain point, which, it doesn't even have to be that huge. You start getting unsolicited brand things, like for everything. I've gotten eyelash serum requests. I got a desk
jewelry.
I got a Flexi Spot desk one this morning. Like stuff that's not even necessarily related to what you do. And I what I have been shocked with in the past maybe year is to figure out how many creators who I view as very savvy and experienced essentially click yes and engage in every single one of those, and will sometimes agree to do a sponsored thing and then reach out to other people and go like, hey, do you know anything about this company? Because I said to do a sponsored thing for them, and like, is it good or whatever? And it's like, why would you agree?
I know, that's hard.
That's so backward. Like, but then that's where it's like,
this is why we all need to get together.
That's a level of like, you're going to have a lot of headaches there because you run the risk of now having to endorse something that sucks. You're probably getting taken advantage. It's probably an unfair deal. It's probably a boilerplate agreement that you got that takes what you do not into account at all.
Right.
And now you're kind of on the hook for it. And if you do that type of thing many, many times over, it's no wonder that you're going to feel like maybe I'm not having fun doing this anymore.
Yeah. Kombucha's here. Dave Den. Hello. Homesick Mac. Gotta admit, after buying more than 10 Belroy bags products and using them as every gig carry, it'd be natural for me to try to get a brand deal of some kind.
Yeah,
see, exactly.
There's stuff where that's where it's like, I think it's okay to,
especially if it's something that you use all the time. Yeah.
Unless you're taking the role of a journalist who is supposed to be objective and neutral and just talk about a thing. I don't think a lot of YouTube creators are trying to take that role as journalists.
That's the point.
Yeah,
the point is that we can be ourselves, isn't it?
And that's what I agree with. And so there's nothing wrong with having a bias. It's just acknowledging your bias. Like Rode I know I'm talking to a Sennheiser microphone right now, but Rode is one for me where it's like, it wouldn't be unreasonable for someone to say, I don't know, Tom's kind of biased towards Rode, which in a way makes me more critical of them. But I also understand why someone might see me make a video where I say something positive about a Rode product and they want to go watch another video from someone else to see if it lines up. I totally get that. But on the flip side, I've been using Rode gear since years before I had a YouTube channel. Like, it really did save my butt when I was a teacher. They saved me not just because the gear was good and worked, but even when stuff broke, even out of warranty, they would replace it, which saved me so much time, money, and frustration as like a teacher trying to run this program. And then when I started doing YouTube stuff, because that's what I used at work, that's what I bought personally. And then it was literally, I remember a day where I was just like, oh my God, like everything in here is just a Rode thing. It was not intentional. But then I was like, wow, I think I like Rode. and so there's nothing wrong with then, I've never had a paid brand deal with Rode, but there's nothing wrong with then me kind of having a bias and going, yeah, if I have two options for something, I'm going to lean towards the Rode one probably because of all those reasons. Other people might not have that experience or those reasons. And as long as I'm upfront about that, I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah. I think everybody does that in their life.
Yeah, of course. Like, what
Yeah.
car do you drive? Do you just go whatever dealership you happen to drive by? That's the brand of car you drive. You probably have a brand that you're kind of like, I like that kind of car or whatever.
Tony says, to Tom's point on people not understanding how to navigate brand deals, spot on. Could really use a masterclass for templates on how to handle the business of YouTube. Feels like we're all just winging it.
Absolutely, we are.
Everyone's winging it, and then like, there's no one to ask, and even when you do ask, people are very close to the chest with it. Like,
well, that's the hard thing too. Is then you end up with you end up potentially undervaluing yourself, and
that's not the company's fault. They're just doing what they do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same thing. It's also their job, not only doing marketing, but they want to spend as little money as
they're
possible.
trying to get their most bang for their buck.
If we could sponsor 3 people instead of taking that budget and sponsoring one person with it, let's try to pay 3 people less. Like, that's of course what they're going to do.
Let's see. Andre says the Lumix thing probably wouldn't have been a thing if it weren't for the Insta360 thing. Lumix type situations have been going on for years.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think people suddenly started. Because with the Insta thing, I know what I did and what I've read other people have done too is like specifically with the X4, which is the camera that kicked this off. A lot of people went back and looked at the launch day, the wave of X4 videos, and saw who in the video said it was sponsored, who in the description said it was sponsored, who marked the sponsored thing. And it's like, in those cases, there was not only a product, but also money that changed hands. All of those things technically should have been done. And very few people did all of them. And there was a number of people, and you can just go find the videos yourself right now. There's a number of people who don't really make any mention of it. And you would kind of never really know it was a sponsored thing.
Okay, so let me freaking ask you this. Why?
I don't know. Well,
like, why is it... I don't understand, like, what... Why do you have to hide it? Why is it, like, a thing that you have to hide? Does it make the thing more legit?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why Insta asked people, because they literally said it's more authentic and genuine if it's not sponsored.
I don't think that's true. Is that true? I think
that people have abused their audience's trust enough to the point where people are dubious. And I know, like, the thing that's really frustrating is if someone sends you, I don't know, a $25 mic windscreen, you have to check the, whatever sponsored content button on YouTube. If someone pays you $100,000, you have to check the same box on YouTube, and there is zero contextualization for what that box means. You get the same notice on each thing, and sometimes that is frustrating when it's like, okay, maybe even a secondary thing that's in this video was provided, so I have to check that box. It's not even the point of the video, but now there is, I feel, baggage on that video because, and the icon that pops up is literally a hand taking a stack of money. Like, it might as well just be like a bag with a dollar sign on it. And it's like, okay, I feel like you have to win. You already have to then. You should make that notification. You should make that clear. But the way that you have to do it, now you have to like earn back some credibility and trust by doing that. And I think a lot of people are just like, I'm not going to do that. And people, I've heard people justify it
in all
kinds of different ways. A way of like, they might not have paid me and I got the thing for free, but I had to put in the time to make the video. I had to spend the years building the experience.
Oh,
so
no, you checked the box, buddy.
And it's like,
we all know what the box is intentionally made for.
Right. I mean, YouTube's pretty clear. I feel like I would love to see more nuance in it, but currently it says if you received anything of value to make this video, check the box.
Yeah, but because that's YouTube's box. YouTube is a third party between the sponsor and you, so they don't care. They just, to meet their legal things, they need to have a box. They put the box. They don't care.
Here's an example. Do you know if you're a creator in the Amazon affiliate program?
Okay.
That's a lot of creators, right?
Like, okay.
If you can have an affiliate link to Amazon.
Okay.
There are very specific rules that Amazon has. You cannot say specific prices. You cannot show Amazon web pages and product listings. You cannot use the Amazon logo in your thumbnails. You cannot put prices in your thumbnails. You cannot use hyperbolic language like best, worst, most, least. How many videos do you see where people do that? I bought the most, I bought the least, I bought the worst on Amazon, and they have the Amazon logo and they have the 5-star rating and they have a $ price amount right there, or they show the product listing. If you're not an Amazon affiliate, it doesn't matter. But if you are an Amazon affiliate, they can take your status away because you're not supposed to do that. And I think their reasoning is stuff changes so much. They don't want your permanent video to be like, this item is this price at this rate.
4 years later.
Yeah. And you might say like, well, okay, it doesn't matter because it's not enforced. Just like the YouTube button. That's YouTube's thing. If it ran, you never know. And I say this because 3 years ago, I got dinged on an Amazon thing where I didn't even, it was a thing where I had made a video that was comparing boom arms, and maybe 6 minutes into the video, no, maybe not 6 minutes, minutes into the video, I said, oh, this boom arm is like $25 and this one's like whatever. I didn't show the Amazon page or anything. That got me in trouble and almost like booted from the program. So, and I think it was just a random thing. I think it's just a random audit of things, and I don't know how YouTube works. Point being, it's probably a good idea to be above board and follow the rules, understand the rules that you're supposed to follow, so that even though you can look around and be like, hey, everyone else on this freeway is speeding, it doesn't really matter if the cop is driving behind you and puts the radar gun at you.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. Ernesto is here. Happy Friday. How many guitars do we need? One more. Y'all think I'm just buying guitars. I got my latest exactly 8 years ago. Ain't buying anything soon.
I haven't bought anything in 2 years. I haven't bought 2 years ago. I bought my bass, and prior to that, it was 2020 is when I bought my last guitar. It sounds like a recovery program.
Endorsements have always been effective, but used to be too expensive. But now creators are affordable compared to major celebrities, so brands are incentivized to go after their endorsements.
Right. You used to have to pay Britney Spears a massive amount to talk about Pepsi. You just have to send someone a free camera.
Yeah. Andre says one solution would be to give creators enough to be creative with a product and show the results rather than bullet point showcase videos.
Yeah.
Ernesto says, my son has been telling me about how there's videos of Logan Paul opening a Prime drink but never drinks it. Just opens to promote his drink. I don't blame him for promoting his drink.
I love that. I don't want to put that crap in my mouth.
Spiral Lab is here. Hello. Thanks for being here. I trust a person that promotes something that also uses the product.
Right. Of course.
Ono Coffee says, if they didn't disclose a relationship, like a free trip to Japan, then that creator is untrustworthy.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big one.
Well, I just don't get, like, why do you...
I mean, but why? Yeah, why not?
Why do you have to hide it? I don't understand, like, why... I don't understand how you don't see that transparency is the key to sustainability for everything. Like, I don't understand. Like, fine, this might you might think like, okay, let's not hide it now, but just it'll compound, and then all of a sudden you're stuck.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just transparent, you never it's like future proofing.
I talk about one of my.
And like, why is it shady? Like, isn't that cool that you got to be invited to this incredible thing? Go have fun. Yeah, go. Why does it have to be shady?
Exactly.
But why are we? I'm like asking. Like.
Well, okay. One of my favorite old school YouTube channels was Dave Dugdale Learning DSLR Video. I've talked about him a lot lately because I really loved the way that he did things. And he was super active from like 2010 to maybe 2016, 2017. And that was a time before YouTube sponsorship, brand deals, partner program was what it is now. And I remember as his channel kind of developed, it was based around his own skills learning how to do video. As that developed, he got into the computer side of things, the editing software, which involved him like building his own computers. And I remember specifically the brand Asus, the computer brand, like the PC brand. He bought some stuff from them, was doing some tests. And I remember he made videos where he like was like, oh, Asus reached out to me and was telling me about like they have these new things like this graphics card or processor. I don't know what they make, but computer parts. He's like, they have this one and this one. They're going to send me this thing or some I think it was that company. Could have been a different company. But point being, it wasn't even like, it was just so organic in terms of he was like, hey, I've been talking about stuff. I use this. They saw my video. They reached out. They told me about this. They sent this to let me try, and he's trying it, and he's explaining like, oh, this one seems to be working. This one doesn't seem to be working. And he would even say like, okay, so I asked the engineer at the company. So ultimately what you ended up with was several videos about the same computer company and the same computer parts, but it's not even that it didn't feel sponsored. It just wasn't. It was transparent. It was just, I've been making videos about this stuff. The company reached out to me. Here's the dialogue I've been having with them. I like their stuff. I want to use their stuff. This is me talking to them about it. And I don't know. I felt like that was just such a cool way to do it. It's like, I didn't feel like, oh, you shill, like you're just, why aren't you evaluating every other product? Because that's the other thing too, is like, you might want to just talk about the thing that you like. I don't necessarily want to evaluate every competing product. Like, I want to talk about the Roadcaster.
Well,
I don't want to talk about the 15
people
clone
don't do
casters.
that. Like, I don't understand why it.
But that, my point being, is that was kind of an old school thing that was very clear, very transparent, and seemed to work for everybody. I didn't have weird feelings about it. It doesn't seem like anyone else did.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that went away. That way of doing things went away.
Andre says, some people will think something is the creator's own opinion, legit review, if it's not marked, labeled as such.
Yes. And in this most current dust up, I've seen a lot of creators almost blame the audience. And I do not like that at all. Where they're like, the audience should know. It's obvious. The audience... No. It's not obvious. Because we don't just watch your channel. Like, we watch lots of other videos. You're just one of many. And it's hard to like sit here and decipher and contextualize. And if you can just be honest and open about what you're doing, it really kind of makes it better for everybody.
Okay, so I guess the way that this all got messed up is, so if it's marked as sponsored, it automatically makes it not genuine.
I think it creates a hurdle to overcome. I do. And so people don't want to mark their thing as sponsored, but they want to work with companies.
But
still.
for some reason, like,
I don't know. I mean, I know that's how I feel every time I check that box, especially if it's something that's like, this is kind of dumb. When it's like, Tony Stark can pull up with the Audi logo, like front on the freaking IMAX screen.
No one says anything.
No box checked there. But like, God forbid, like, use some like peripheral. But if everybody's playing by the same rules, right, that problem is not really
obviously
a problem anymore.
Some bad apples have ruined it where, money exchanged hands, and then so it was biased. Like, straight up biased, where, I don't know, maybe it was like you were hiding things that, there clearly is a flaw and you're not pointing it out because the company is telling you to focus on these bullet points instead.
I mean,
and so that just that stink kind of spreads to everybody else.
Yeah, because one person watches one or two of those videos, and then they just, now anytime they hear anybody say, somebody sent me this, they just like, oh, you're doing that same thing the other person did, even if you're absolutely not.
Yeah. Mike says, also not just sponsored issues, but also requesting biased reviews for gifts.
Yeah, make this video in exchange for this product.
Andre says, this video is lightly sponsored with breadcrumbs and wood pearls. Should be an option for YouTube videos.
I mean, it would be cool. I did see someone suggest some contextualization, like paid endorsement, I think is the button on YouTube, and then a sub option to check, like accommodations provided, product provided, payment received. Like, that way there could be contextualization of like what, and I know YouTube doesn't.
But why does it matter though? Like, what is the difference between you received accommodations versus you got paid the same amount as the cost of the accommodations? Like, who cares as a viewer?
Well, I think the difference is, did I get a $400 camera or did I get a week-long trip to Japan? I think those are different. Or in the case of one...
Yeah, but then what if you go to the trip to Japan, or you get the $400 camera plus $4,000?
Right. Well, I mean, that's why it's like paid sponsorship, free product, travel and accommodations.
But why would that change? I'm just like, genuinely, I'm just asking, like, is the viewer going to be like, oh, okay, this was accommodation, so it's legit?
No, it's just
like, I don't understand how that would help, I guess.
I mean, I don't think it's going to, if anything, I don't think it's going to help things seem legit. I think it's going to help people identify less legit things. Because I know of one very specific company that is quite litigious, and I'm not going to say anything about them.
What did you just say?
They're quite litigious.
Litigious. I've never heard this word in my life. I've been together with Tom for 8 years, 8 years of knowing you, and sometimes he'll just say a word that I've never even heard in my entire life, and you just had this one in your vocab.
Borborygmus. There we go.
Litigious.
Litigious.
What does that mean?
Prone to taking legal action.
Wow. Sorry.
Who, when they have a new product that comes out, lots of people get the new product. Lots of people get the new product plus payment. And in the videos you watch, it is very unclear. You cannot tell who is who. Because for some reason, when working with this specific company, people don't go out of their way to disclose the payment side of things, which I know can be massive, in 5 figures in some cases. And so you could be watching someone who got a $300 item, or you could be watching someone who got a $300 item plus
a $3,000
a down payment on a house.
Oh.
You know, like, I mean, I'm, 10, 20, 30,000, maybe more. And you don't know. And I don't know how.
But everyone's checking the box.
But you all check the same box. And it is weird. And I don't know that the company in this case is telling people not to disclose it. They're just saying, hey, this is a sponsored thing. You check the box, whatever. But as the creator, it is weird when you say like, oh, thanks company for providing the thing.
So see, to me, based on how you're describing this, I feel like if there's anybody to blame, it seems like it's creators. It's some of these creators.
Oh, I would say so. Yeah. I would absolutely say so. 1,000%. And some of it is on purpose, where people are consciously not including stuff. And those are the bad apples. Those are the people who are ruining it for the rest of it. Some of it is just ignorance. Like, you didn't know any better because you didn't get into this to navigate this world of business sponsorships. And now you're like in the middle of this and you're trying to figure it out. So you might make mistakes or hiccups here or there, or you might look and see what everyone else is doing and copy someone who's like acting in bad faith.
But
I don't really blame those people.
Know. Yeah.
Yeah. And the viewer doesn't really know. Yeah. I guess that's where I'll stop.
Is there more?
Oh, there's a lot more.
Kat says they hide because as soon as money changes hands, the review can be biased.
I mean, yeah, and that's the thing that people have said ad nauseum. Something's paid, it can't be a review. I agree. I did a sponsored Sennheiser video at the beginning of last year. I've talked about this before. If that had been a microphone that I bought and made a review for it, it would be the exact same video. And I know that. I know the video wouldn't change.
But yeah.
But the fact that they paid me means it does not make sense to call that a review, because that word has a connotation to it that means something. So it's one thing to call it a showcase, a highlight, a demo, like whatever. Those are all things that it can be when it's paid, and it's okay. Review is different because that's, like...
You're implying it's a personal opinion.
You're implying a level of being removed from the company and objectivity to some degree, and,
Yeah, but
to some degree.
I see, this is why I think we shouldn't be using these words that 1,000% is sponsored. So many people who've been sponsored will use review. They'll call it a review.
Yeah. And I mean, and people, and so will viewers. Like, someone can say, like, here's a product showcase. They check all the boxes, they do all the things, but someone's going to say, like, oh, I saw that review. Like, they're just going to call it a review. It's a person talking about a product. Therefore, it's a review. It's shorthand. It makes sense. So that's where it gets mucked up. And I don't think there is a solution to that, because there's too many people, too many circumstances, too many things going on. But it's, I don't know. That's where it's, when I see that there are people essentially, sorry. The analogy I've used is taking a dump in their own living room and then complaining the whole place smells like poo. I don't have a lot of sympathy. And right. I feel like there's a significant amount of that. Creators who are like, you kind of are to blame for your own problems, and not even your problems, because what you do reflects on everybody else and affects everybody else. And now, like, you burned your audience and they come over to my channel already burned.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh, Tom, talk about it. I see. Okay, I see. I didn't know this. I didn't realize this.
I don't know if I knew it either. I think I'm discovering these feelings too.
Andre says, I think the YouTube sponsored checkbox is for tubers to more easily mark their videos, follow local rules. Like here in Norway, it's a law, so checking the box means one is compliant.
Yeah, I mean, the FCC specifically says it might not be enough.
Because here's the thing. YouTube does not give an F about sponsorships because it's literally money that is not like exchanging with them.
Yeah, they don't make money off your sponsorship.
Exactly. So it's like, of course, they're doing what they need to do to stay compliant as a business. And that's the bare minimum that they're going to do. Otherwise, they're going to, the things that they're going to work on are trying to make their product, the YouTube products, better for creators, better for viewers. That's
look how specific. If you go on YouTube and you upload a video and you turn on ads, you have to go through like 12 boxes. Does it include this? If so, to what degree? This, that, like all these things. Okay, this.
Yeah, for their AdSense.
If you received
money outside of YouTube, they don't give a crap.
Just check this little box or whatever.
So yeah, obviously they know, but
yeah.
K-Walk Harmony says it's like that adage. It's easier to keep up with the truth than a lie.
Yeah.
Same would apply to sponsorships. Easier to keep up with the truth than a lie.
100%. And it's something you can be proud of. Like if you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't understand why you would hide
it's not an
a trip to
bad
Japan.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and if you go back to the recent Lumix thing, I don't know how many people. I think invited like 20 people or something. You can find people who I think did it very well and were just open and honest about stuff. They not only talked about the product that they were there to like check out, but then they also like talked about their trip to Japan and made it very human and very personable. And we're even grateful of like, it was really cool I got to do this because now I got to go to this place I couldn't have gone otherwise. And here, you know, some people did it really well and you can do that. It's just other people didn't do it very well. And yeah.
Mike says, got here late, but how about a public-facing sponsorship contract to be shown in the video itself? I also think including monetary payments wouldn't be as suspicious with the radical honesty itself. Like kind of putting the fine print in the video.
To me, like, it's not that I wouldn't be on board with that. I would. My hesitation would just be that, like, it would be so distracting from the topic of, like... Which is why it goes back to, like, if you can just do anything that's not sponsored, it's so much easier. But, you know, you need to make money and make a living. And why, you know.
I just don't think, like, sponsored should equal inherently bad. Company is inherently bad. And I feel like for some reason, the conversation, I'm getting the impression that it is, but to me, it seems like it's more of, like, a few creators that kind of...
And in some cases, again, it's not intentional. It's
right,
people finding themselves in these situations who were not trained, prepared, or anything. Just sort of like, oh my, like, what happened? How am I in this circumstance?
Andre says, honestly, I think YouTubers think marking something as sponsored is bad, while most people don't even think about it other than a very loud minority.
That minority is very loud, but I think you're spot on that, like, it is a minority. Like, you know, I get kind of nervous. I did a sponsored video like a month ago. And I always get nervous. It was for a thing that wasn't related to the video. It was in a boom arm comparison video. There was an Artlist sponsorship, so totally different. And I always just like, oh, you know, like, I hope people aren't upset that there's like this 60-second thing in the middle. Not one person said anything, you know, like, so most people just really don't care, or they're used to it or whatever. But I think it is how you handle it.
Kat says, even if you try not to be biased, if you accept a sponsorship, you are in a partnership of sorts with this company.
Yeah, and just being honest about that. Like, you know, I don't know, just being honest.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's like if you're genuine, like, I love PlayStation. Why would I hide that?
Yeah, I mean,
yes, I will be biased to guitars, to PlayStation.
Talk to people about why they play Fender versus Gibson. That's going to, like,
I don't
really open up a can of worms.
I guess the I don't know, shady part is, what is the shady part? The shady part is if I'm lying or not being, like, if the company has told me to say something, I don't know. Now I'm getting confused.
It's how transparent you're being. And
Doc says litigious is a very common word. I've never heard of it before.
Ironically, HR departments can be very litigious.
Mike says, some people were commenting on my video. Nobody cares. Just shut my mouth and just review products. Makes me ask myself, am I in the minority or majority with honesty and transparency?
Yeah, I mean, Doc was actually someone who helped me. I credit him often with this. I think it depends. I think you're probably doing things the better way, Mike, of being honest and transparent. But I know something that I used to do a lot was I used to dive into a lot of depth with like, you know, which by the way, everything I'm using today, all of this stuff is stuff we paid for. None of it was sent for free. But in a case where, say, a microphone was sent out, I would say like, oh, company sent this microphone to me. And, you know, like they asked if I want to do this. And I said yes. And it was because of this and this, but I'm not. I really had my disclaimer, but it was really long. So I was trying to address every one of those comments that was coming, that I could imagine coming in. And Doc was someone who was like, look, the people who love your channel and care about you and support you, we don't care about all that.
Well, they're giving you the benefit of the doubt.
They're giving you the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Those people who are going to give you crap, they don't care about what you do anyway. They're going to watch this one video, complain, leave, and never come back.
They're not
so
subscribed.
Don't take time away from us, the people who care about what you do, to try to do the impossible and satisfy them. And so I still disclose stuff because not only is it just good and transparent, it is a requirement, at least in the US, to verbally disclose these things, not just check the box. But it can be very quick, you know, like company sent this thing. I'm under no obligation to say anything about it. I know that's a common thing and people have their opinion. I don't say this, but I know that's a common thing and people have their opinion about it. In my case, it is true. And I think in most cases, it's probably pretty true. And then that's kind of it. In my case, I do have the ethics statement on the website and a video version of the ethics statement. And so I link to the website in the description. And then I also always, like, not always, but most of the time, put a card to the ethics statement video at that part too. So it's like, here's the basics.
Look at you.
If you want to dive in and put yourself to sleep reading about all this other stuff, here you go. Which of course the people who are going to levy those criticisms are never going to do that. But at least they can't say I didn't provide everything.
Some viewers don't trust that a review is not influenced by the free thing they're getting. It's why employers make you sign agreements that you can't accept gifts from customers.
But I mean, the thing is, I think, like, going back to, like, where not everyone is a journalist, let's go back to guitars. If I know someone is a super fan of Fender guitars and has played them for years and talks about them for years, and now they get to go tour the Fender factory.
Right.
I know that they're going to. I know that they're probably only going to say cool things, and they're going to pick up all the guitars off the thing, and be like, "Look at this beautiful finish, and look how great this sounds." I don't really care. I kind of want that, right? Like, I'm probably watching them at that point because I'm also a Fender fan, and I want to. I kind of want to share the thing about that we're excited about. I don't want to see them go and be like, "Well, you know, the workmanship isn't what it used to be back in the day, and these machines and the like." I don't want that.
So what happened? What is the difference? Like, why?
I don't know. I mean, it's everything got mucked up because you have the journalist side of thing where a journalist would go, okay, company did a press release on new product. Let's look at the new product. You like Consumer Reports back in the day where it was like unbiased reporting. Here's this mouse. It does this. It does that. It does these other things. This is what it says it does.
People are fans. People are biased. Yeah. And people are also going to share their enthusiasm for a brand, a company, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, and I think that's okay too. It's that weird middle ground. It's that weird middle ground where it's unclear and someone's trying to appear like, oh, I'm just like. It's the thing where someone's trying to appear. They're lying to you. They're trying to appear like it's genuine and it's unbiased when it. Even if the bias is just that their bank account got bigger, it's biased.
But you just said that bias is okay.
But when you're open about it, when you say, I love Fender guitars, I'm going to the Fender factory, this is going to be awesome. Okay, cool. I don't really expect you to be that critical about them. That's not what I'm here for. If you love, you know, hey, this Sennheiser mic is great. Check it out. I love Sennheiser. They're a great company. Here's a Sennheiser mic. I'm probably going to say pretty nice things. Also, because this is the thing I chose to make a video about, probably means I like it. That's very different than like, I am only talking about this because when it's hidden and it's unclear and it does seem like you're a fan of something that you're not really a fan of or wouldn't be otherwise.
That goes back to the what Kat said earlier, where the companies and the sponsors are dictating the conversation.
Yes.
Because
there's the difference.
Yeah, you would not have talked about it, whereas the Fender fan would have talked about it anyway.
If I had a channel at Fender Guitars and it was a couple years in, and then I even actively reached out to Fender.
Yeah,
and
you showed
I
up
could
at
make
the
a video and be
factory.
like, I asked Fender if I go to the factory. They said yes.
Everyone would be excited. Probably.
It's a victory for the whole community.
Exactly.
Because your
so
win is our
what
win.
happened?
Well, what happened is exactly that, is somebody else dictating the thing. And
right, that's what happened, yeah.
Okay, so here's something I've learned. Sorry, this is a point that I wanted to get out.
Go.
There has been a string of things over the past couple of years of YouTube channels getting hacked and doing like weird crypto live streams. I don't know if you... Yeah. It's a thing that happens and some channels have hundreds of thousands, millions of subscribers, and it really could potentially ruin somebody's career, their life. Like it is very damaging when this happens. Like a channel gets taken over, all videos get deleted, and usually some scammers just run this weird crypto live stream until it gets taken down, the channel gets deleted by YouTube, and the person may or may not ever get their channel back. There's a bunch of different ways that can happen, and it's a scary thing to talk about. One of the more common ways has something to do with downloading a PDF to your computer that has something in it that essentially then gains access to anything you're logged into on your browser. So if you have your YouTube dashboard open, and then you have your email open, and you click the PDF, now that you're logged into your YouTube dashboard, it has access to your YouTube dashboard. Something like that. I don't quite know how all that stuff works, but it's something along those lines. And the way that people are getting to a lot of YouTube creators is they sound like a brand deal. Maybe from a legitimate brand. Hey, I'm the marketing manager for whatever company. We'd love to offer you this brand deal. Here's our contract. Download it and check it. Open it and check it. What you think about it. And then the person clicks on it. Which, I mean, part of that is a savviness of never download anything from someone you're not sure of. And if you hear from a brand that you've never heard from before, even if it seems like a legit brand, someone from Shure reaches out to you, but you're like, you've never talked to anyone from Shure. Shure is a trustworthy company. You can, instead of downloading anything or replying to them, you can look up the person, look them up on LinkedIn, do a Google search and see if that person with that email address, or even better yet, find that person in the the company directory and email them yourself and say, hey, I received this email. Just want to make sure that this is above board.
See, this is why I tell everyone, if you want to reach out to me on Instagram, because I'm not freaking downloading anything.
Yeah, no, but what this showed me, again, going back to lots of channels that I thought not only were savvy or whatever, was the number of companies that aren't trying to impersonate this, or just shady whatever companies, and the number of people who will just click yes, download on any brand deal that's sent their way is insane. And that to me is when you want to talk about companies getting in the driver's seat, when someone is open to essentially whoever wants to put money in the collection plate, I don't know. You're setting yourself up for... That is how things go down a bad road, because it's I don't give a crap if we're talking about a mattress, if we're talking about a camera, if we're talking about a meal prep service. Give me money and I'll be whatever you need me to be. That's the level that a lot of people operate at.
I know, but it sucks because I know they don't know any better. I feel like that person...
I mean, well, again, it's all gray area. There's no black or white, because it's if you run an audio channel, you get an email from Shure. Why wouldn't you open it, But when you get an email from some weird company promising the best thing ever and just download our weird PDF, why would you do that? Sorry,
I know, but it's hard. I feel bad though with that, because it's
I always feel bad for the, it's the thing of better one guilty person go free than 10 innocent people get locked up kind of situation. I know there's people who are just trying their best and getting taken advantage of or finding themselves in weird situations. But I also know I legitimately know there are plenty of people who have their two sides. Not just the maybe you turn up your personality. I'm talking more loudly now than I talk when we're just hanging out in the kitchen. Maybe I'm not.
No.
Maybe it's the same. But there's when the camera's on, you're aware the camera's on. There's a persona. Right? But that difference, Doc, whoever else is in the chat that we've met in person, they're the same.
Basically the same.
If you've seen him on YouTube, you've met him in person.
There hasn't...
I think everyone we know in our circle that we would call our friends is that.
Yeah.
There are people
It's not.
No,
the
we're not
same.
in that circle where it's not the same.
It's not.
And
the
they
same.
do a
But,
really
you know,
good job on camera of making you think that.
It makes me uncomfortable because it's like.
I hate that crap, so I have zero empathy for that.
If you want to do that, though.
If you want to do that and then you burn yourself because you've gotten yourself into a crappy deal and you've eroded the trust of your audience.
Eroded.
I don't.
Right.
Why am I going to feel sorry for you?
Yeah.
I'm mad at you because now my audience has lost trust.
Right.
So, no, I have zero sympathy for that person. But it also makes me sick when I see people do that because it's. I don't know. It's the same feeling I get, and this is a thing that happens as a dude, especially as a straight white guy. Other straight white guys will tell me things that are so horrific because for some reason they think we're in like this club, and it is bad a lot. It's really bad, and it could be something like say me and a person are standing right here. And there's a girl talking to us, and it's like, oh, hey, yeah, everybody's friendly or whatever. And then they leave, and this person will say the most disgusting, awful things about that person who is just right there. They would never say to their face. And they turn into an entirely different person. It's very scary. And I feel very gross and disgusted when that happens, and I want nothing to do with it. There are people who run their channels the same way. They're in front of the camera. Right. It's like, oh, man, you guys, we're just the community, and we're all in it. And you know what you are to them? You are just ad revenue, affiliate clicks, affiliate link clicks. You are sponsorship. You know, you're another number to crank up my sponsorship revenue.
I think the reason why this really gets under your skin.
It does.
Is because I think with YouTube specifically, with your journey, it was like such a pure, magical, innocent thing where you were able to be yourself, accepted for who you are, which is something that, you know, for so much of your
happen in the real world.
For so much of your life, you felt like you didn't belong. You always felt like the odd one out and like you were doing something wrong. And then you started a YouTube channel. And there was all these other people who who were just as nerdy and odd and weird as you.
You're saying I'm nerdy and weird?
I love that about you, babe. Okay?
Weird?
I am too. But, like, I think that's why you get so...
Yeah,
I don't want people to, like, you know, clip this out and it's just Tom going off. But I think the reason is because, like...
This is something very special to me, and
yes.
I don't like seeing it abused.
Exactly.
What I consider abused.
Yeah.
It is just a thing. It's just a website, but it's a special thing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Andre says the paid I can't talk anywhere. The paid accommodation part is relevant for travel YouTubers, among other things. So it would be relevant for a video about a resort.
We just watched a video from abroad in Japan. Speaking of Japan, where he, you know, it was like 48 hours in Hiroshima, things you can do.
Yeah.
And he talked about a hotel.
Literally, I paused the video mid-video and I was like, Chris, this whole trip was paid. He says it.
He's super clear about it.
And I don't feel weird about it at all.
Yeah, he's like...
Because I want his perspective about these things. I want his production as he goes through these places. Like, I don't feel weird about it.
He's literally like, the hotel let us check out the, you know...
The super baller suite.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, oh, look at this chump. Like, there...
Yeah, I mean, so there's...
So obviously there's a way to do it.
There's a way to do... And that's just... He's just super transparent. And I'm cool with that. Everybody was cool with that.
But why wouldn't you be transparent?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I think it gets... I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe it's because obviously the niche / genre that we have the most exposure to is yours, audio video.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure these things happen in other
ones. It's products. It's, you know, you're not makeup, which is like $20 for a lipstick. You're, you know, $1,200 for a camera. So I get it.
I feel like every niche has a thing, but yeah, the camera thing, that's also like you're potentially convincing people to spend a lot of money on something.
I know.
Under false pretenses.
I know. This is why I feel weird talking about it, because it's like I feel like there's no care, there's no like sense of responsibility of like,
right?
You know, the endorsement should come to me the same way that you would tell a friend about the new happy hour down the street.
Yeah, because we do that. I mean, that's, some, like, especially, like, I'm thinking of, like,
I don't know.
Peter
What
Lindgren
do
and
I
Bronson
know,
from
know?
Audio Hotline, some of our real life YouTuber friends. When we talk, it is just a YouTube video. It literally is. I mean,
Check out this new thing I got.
Bronson literally sent me his own custom made LUT pack the other day with a tutorial video about how to, like, use and install.
For Tom.
Yeah. And I have talked to Peter so many times, whether it's in person or on, like, a FaceTime call, where he will talk about, like, oh, if you look at this camera, okay, it's so cool because when I go like this and I push this button, this thing, it literally just becomes the YouTube video just for me. But it's genuine, like, it's so genuine. And this is obviously what you would be doing when no one is watching, because I'm the only one here. And so then when you make a video and you talk about that, it's super genuine. And I don't care. It could be something that was sent to you. It could be something you bought yourself. But the genuine passion, enthusiasm, and excitement is there.
Okay. We have to catch up here.
I know, sorry. I'm trying to not go off on a thing every time.
Because gifts can absolutely cause preferential treatment towards certain customers or clients. Yes.
Yeah, I know a lot of things. Even, when I was on the arts commission, it was like you couldn't receive a gift from someone for more than like $25 or whatever.
Roger is here. Some creators were promoting FTX up until it went under, and a lot of people lost money. I don't know what FTX is.
I think it's like a coin of some kind.
Oh, Andre says, also for YouTubers staying somewhere and just mentioning that place, which might have paid their accommodation, even though the video might be about a camera or creative process or not related stuff.
Well, I mean, B&H helped cover our travel costs for NAB.
And we said it so many freaking times, loud and proud. I mean, we changed our lanyards, the default, like NAB went to the B&H. They didn't ask us to do that, but I was like, this is cool. This is cool that they did that.
It was really cool, and they didn't cover they covered our flight and our hotel. We still had to pay for, meals and dog boarding, which is like just as expensive as human hotel, and stuff like that. So it really reduced the cost. It took care of like 2/3 of our whole travel costs, which made the trip possible. But it's like we didn't walk away with like a fatter bank account necessarily. We just had a slightly less fat bank account because of it. But that was a sponsorship. You would call that a sponsorship that enabled us to do a thing we couldn't have done otherwise. Because otherwise it would have been like, this is just too expensive. We can't go.
Doc says, I personally don't care if the video is paid or not. Every actor, athlete, musician you've ever seen in commercial is paid. This is a big deal being made over what's been normal marketing business. Make your own decisions, period. The reviews are for information only. You need to make your choices and do your research. If the product sucks, return it.
I mean, always buy from somewhere that has a good return policy.
I think the difference, though, Doc, is that I feel like there is a cultural, societal understanding that this is expected for actors, athletes, and musicians. The tricky part is YouTube, because the whole point of YouTube is a normal person
talking to you.
It's just a person like you. It's a person like me. It's someone who's just you don't have like superpowers or an unlimited budget. You're just like the person who's watching this, and that's where it gets weird.
Yeah, the viewers.
I mean, that could be like that should be the advantage, but then
right, of course,
yeah,
that is
like
huge.
Why would you leave? I don't know. Well, maybe that's why they don't check the box, because then it takes away from being that we were the same person. But
isn't there a thing? I don't know if they still do this. I was never someone who went to these, but I heard at one point in time, at least, there were like girls who would work for alcohol companies, and they would be in bars, and they would like sit next to a guy and be like, chatting him up and be like, oh, I'm drinking, Sky vodka. Like, do you want a Sky vodka? Or like whatever. I don't know. Is that a vodka?
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever brand it was, they would just be like, oh, this is what I drink. Could you buy me another one here? Like, and they would just sort of like they would just be like real life advertising for the company.
Yeah, that's totally a thing.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, but
I'm pretty sure I've been to a party where literally Sky vodka did that.
But I mean, but that's kind of what it is. So if someone sits down next to you at a bar and starts talking to you,
but they're wearing like a Sky t-shirt.
No. I'm talking about there's a thing where it would be like, I'm just interested in you and you're cute and having fun.
No,
like,
that's
hey, Sky vodka.
That's weird. No.
I don't know if it's like, sorry, Sky vodka. I don't. Some other Ground vodka. Okay. Floor vodka. But that's a different feeling of like, oh, I thought we were having a conversation and you not only don't care about me, but you are trying to sell me on something. And that is different than like we've been playing Yakuza games a lot lately.
Yes, we
you
have.
go to the Hostess Club in Kamurocho in Japan, and the characters in the game, they're paying for a hostess to hang out with, and they know that person is sitting in the booth with them because they are being paid.
Yeah.
Whether or not you're having a good conversation or whatever, doesn't matter. It's very clear this is only happening because the person is getting paid.
Yeah.
So that's up front. That's an upfront thing. The insidious, like, you don't really know that I'm working for this company, but I'm going to sell you on this thing is...
The ulterior motive? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where it gets shady. Matthew McConaughey cannot get me to buy Lincoln. I don't own a pair of Jordans. I have spent money. I've been on my own accord.
On your own Honda Accord?
Harvard doesn't equal inherently bad, but like is said on Tom's video, the victim mentality people are loud and the echo chambers makes it seem worse than it is.
It's such a gray area issue, man.
Well, who's the victim though? Like who is the victim in this case? Roger says there's a difference watching a review video about a specific camera with a sponsored segment in the middle from Artlist or whatever than the video being sponsored from that specific camera brand.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it being sponsored with the camera brand. Like I said, my Sennheiser, it's about a Sennheiser microphone sponsored by Sennheiser, but it's not a review. It's me telling you about a microphone that I really like and think is cool, and I'm excited about microphones, and, you know, like, it's how you do it.
Let's see. In that scenario, there are people I trust looking at you, Tom, and people I don't trust.
Yeah, and you really have to calibrate your individual viewer things.
What if they lied about Fender paying for the trip? Would that offender you? Da, 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 da. I toured Shure, so you won't hear me bad-mouthing them, but because they make solid ish.
Yeah. I mean, and that makes... So, you know who's been, like, prior to the SM7B and the MV7, you know who's been, like, preaching the qualities of Shure forever is Doc.
Yeah.
Who's been using them since pre-YouTube.
Yeah.
If he goes to the Shure factory and has an awesome time, yeah. Like, that's obviously.
Let's see. That hacking YouTube scenario thingy, a case for the middle-class YouTuber task force to work towards YouTube to make processes where smaller YouTubers have someone to talk to.
Yeah, I mean, there you go, right? A case for the middle-class YouTuber having a group. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm kind of skipping through.
Oh, here there's Doc even saying I was a Shure dealer before the internet existed. There, yeah.
I have Shure mics older than Tom and Heather. There you go.
So you are biased towards Shure, but they've earned it, right? Like,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with like having brand loyalty to, you know, to a thing that has served you well, and that
this is funny.
Most people will fall for the price of Zamunda. Oh,
the Prince. HR, I fully understand you saying they don't know, but they are responsible to know and often don't. Ignorance is 9/10 cliche. Affiliate. Who's they? What was I saying? They are responsible to know and often
I'm
don't.
feeling like we're talking about viewers. I'm not sure. They are responsible to know and often don't. Saying they don't know. I don't know if it's the... I'm not sure if it's the viewer or the creator. I don't, because they were like 15 minutes behind in our comments. A PV mic, Andre. Wow. That is a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Let's see. Good job.
Hey, 90. I'll take it. That's an A-.
Yeah.
Solid.
Tom's Japanese is getting pretty good because we've been playing Yakuza 0 and it's all in Japanese. So.
I forgot how to... Oh. Arigato. Is that how you say thank you? Koriwa pen desu. Soriwa
Hi.
microphone desu.
Let's see. I know I should make a video about it. Got it from the youth club. Started DJing. Oh, this is the mic. On the travel channel, they don't mention the accommodations, but it is disclosed in the credits. Same for game
I mean
shows.
the Avengers movie will say promotional considerations like provided by, and they'll list all the brands, but that's, you know, minute 19 of the end credits. So
you think Kara and Nate pay for their primo accommodations that they visit? It's more or less understood that us mere muggles will have to pay for that fancy underwater suite.
I don't know who they are, but I mean the Broad Japan thing, like I honestly don't even know if he got to stay in the fancy suite because there was no footage of them like moving things around. It was still in pristine condition the whole time. But obviously, like, I know that's not the suite we would stay in if we went to that hotel, but it's definitely like, I know nothing about this place. If I want to go here, let's look up that hotel that had the cool views he talked about. I would do that. Doc Pops. Nice.
Hey, Bailey.
Hey.
Let's see.
Doc Pops. I like it. Not Pop Rocks, but Rock Pops. As long as this is closed. Yeah. I mean, just transparency. People are pretty cool with if you're just
I know,
being
but
honest with
I
them.
do think that there is a difference if you're a creator. I feel like you have a lot more savvy than a viewer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, which is why I feel like if you're a creator, just be transparent with people.
Right.
Because if the viewer doesn't have that savvy, then you're helping them figure it out. Ringer girls, that's what docs.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you would know, of course. I mean, not that sounds weird. Because of your like
know.
DJ
background. Tokyo Vice is a great show. So fun to see several locations for a trip last year.
No extra accent. So Yakuza.
No extra accent on the ku. Yeah, Yakuza.
Yakuza. I think I said Yakuza.
No, you said it right. Yakuza.
Jacuzzi.
Will, years ago, I was at a bar and a girl came up and started chatting about what I smoked. Turns out she was with Camel giving away free packs for their new sticks. I got a free Zippo out of it too.
There you go.
Meaning the YouTubers who don't understand sponsorship.
Right.
Yeah. Bye, Homesick Mac. By the way, Heather, the long sentences being squished. Talk to Tom. It's a setting in Ecamm for line breaks in the comment text box.
Oh, I must have that setting.
Yeah.
I think that was by default.
I don't know.
Yeah, because mine weren't doing that.
Actually, Ecamm, you are all here. How do I make this, like, how do I fix this, like, so the box doesn't get squished?
It's
and
squishy,
it goes, so it goes onto a separate line.
So the text wraps, is that it?
HR's Yakuza pronunciation. Yeah, Yakuza.
I believe that they would.
Chris Pratt is a legend. I'm going in August. Wish you guys could come. We're going next year for our 40th birthday.
Your birthdays, yeah.
And 5-year anniversary.
Yeah, it works out, right?
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Hey, we caught up.
Yeah, we caught up. I'm just going to wait here until I get the answer about the Ecamm comment thing because I don't know how to do it.
Let's poke around in it. If we pop up a comment, I'm going to pop up Doc's Ringer Girl comment here.
No, you need a long one.
But couldn't we... sorry, now I'm doing a thing here. We have transition, border width, style.
No, I think it's in the settings.
Well, because I looked in the settings and I didn't see it. But it must be because there's nothing there. So if we go to our Ecamm settings... Sorry, you guys can't see this right now. And we go to general.
Wait, hold on. Let me make sure that Doc is going to be like, it's here.
We're just squinting at the prompter now. Because here's the automatically hide comment overlays. The stream. Oh my God, look at Finley. Oh, that is the biggest blep in the freaking world. Oh my God.
Finley right now.
No.
Like
he still got it. It's still going. It's still active blep situation. All right.
You do know there's a famous Ecamm employee.
Here, I'll have to get it.
Finley.
Hey, Finley. What do you think, buddy?
Finley.
You having fun?
Here.
You want to go for... There it is.
Look at that blep. Do we see this right now? Oh my goodness.
He just sits there.
Oh, you're going to make everyone sick. I'm going to change that.
Finley, you hear that? You're going to make everyone sick.
I'll drag the comment box from the side and in text choose dynamic.
Okay, I think we had...
Drag the comment box from the side.
In text.
I wish you guys could see it. It's okay. It's
wait, I see a thing here. Oh. Well, here, let's put this one up. Oh, see, now that one,
Oh, wait.
it's this little handle here.
Okay, but just like not all the way. Just, yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
And now if we click on anybody's, they are all staying the same size. Boom.
Well, that's like huge, though. Can we
Well, that
make
would
it
be
a little
this,
bit...
right? To resize it then.
Oh, and then, yeah. And then...
And now we can pop it in the center.
No, but make it here.
Well, it's your stream. You do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's your channel.
It's our stream.
It's your channel and your
Oi!
eCam settings.
Where'd it go? Boom.
That's the
Boom.
that's the one that will
Yeah, like this.
dictate it.
How's that?
There we go.
Are we good? Is that centered?
I think that's good.
That's good.
And now let's try clicking on another long one. Boom. I think they're all the same. I don't find a long comment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
We
working.
did it. Oh my god, that has been
Thank you,
bugging
guys.
me so long.
Cool.
All right.
Appreciate it. Now we're ready to go. Now we're ready to clear the table. Clear
That
the
was
blep.
fun.
The blep is still out, by the way.
The blep is still out.
Dry and crusty at this point.
All right. Well, that was a fun discussion. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Fun discussion.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you have a safe, happy, healthy, fun rest of your week and weekend, and we will see you next time.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
The blep disappeared.